In this video, I'm going to show you how to set up and manage multiple stores. So for us to set up the secondary stores for our default store, the first thing we have to do if we want to create a new secondary store is to navigate to the store management section here, select settings, and then select stores. So in the stores section here, we'll now proceed to add a new secondary store. As you can see, this is our default store. So to add a new secondary store, we come here and click on the add button here. All right. So we'll now proceed to fill the form. So the first thing we have to do here is we enter the store URL. So this will be the link that customers can use to access the store. So if we've already register the domain name for the store, we go ahead and enter it here. So enter for this example, we enter the name as abcstore.com. All right. So take note of the slashes at the slash at the end. You must put it after you enter your store domain name here. So for the SSL URL, we type in, so we type it in as the same domain name, ABC Store. So this should be your own domain name. So after entering the store URL, we proceed to add the meta information. So for the meta title, we can put the store name. So for this example, we say ABC Store. So this should actually be the name of your store. For the meta description, we say this is a test, or let's say a demo secondary store. So this should actually be a description of your store. So we can leave the meta tag keyword. So we leave this, and then we leave these options as they are optional. So we proceed. So in the store section, this is where we add the store name. So we say the name of the store is ABC Store. For the owner's name, you can say test owner. So this should actually be your name. We can add the store address here, but for this example, we just put a test address. So we leave the Joe code, and then we add the store primary email. So for this example, we can say hello@abcstore.com. So note that this email should be an active email. So here we add the phone number for the store. All right. So this is just the test phone number. So here we can include the logo if we want to add the logo that will show in the contact us page. So for this example, let's pick this as the logo, right? So we leave this section. We can add the opening time for the physical office if you have anyone, or we leave it blank. So any content we put here will show in the storefront contact us page. So let's proceed. So here is where we'll now proceed to set the default country, state, language, and currency for the secondary store. So we set this as, for this example, we set this as United Kingdom. All right. Set the state as Bristol. So we leave the language. For the currency, we choose the pound currency here as the default currency for this store. So we proceed. So this section allows us to set up the to adjust how the store will function. So we have different options that we can adjust here to change the functionality of the store. But for this example, we leave the default settings for the options section. So we proceed. All right. So in the images section, this is where we will now set the store logo and icon for the secondary store. So take note of the information we have here. So we need to ensure that we upload only JPG or PNG or GIF format images. And then take note of the recommended image size. So the height has to be 130 pixels. So this is just a recommendation so that the logo will fit properly in the storefront pages. So for this example, let's add a test logo here. All right. So we select this as the logo. For the icon, we search for, so let's say we use, we can use this as the icon. So once we have set this, we proceed. So this next section is where we'll allocate shipping methods to the secondary store. So take note that the shipping methods that are available here are shipping methods that have been activated and set up for our default store. So for you to have a shipping method show up in the list here, you have to first of all set it up and activate it. So for this example, we use let's say we use the Terminal Africa and custom shipping method options. So any option we select here will be available for this secondary store. So we proceed. So here we'll set up the payment method that will be available for this store. So for this example, we'll select the bank transfer payment method. So take note that if we also want to have additional payment methods available here, we'll need to activate it before it can be shown here for us to select it. So let's proceed by clicking the next button. So here is where we can now set the email protocol. So we have the option to choose either the traditional mail or SMTP. So for this example, we leave the mail protocol as the default mail protocol here. So we can also assign additional emails that will receive notifications for this store by entering the email addresses here. So we leave this blank. So this section allows us to adjust the SSL mode for the store. So we need to ensure that this is enabled. All right. So once we set up all the sections, we can always go back to ensure that we filled out all the necessary sections. So once that is done, we now proceed to save. All right. So now you see that our secondary store has been created and the domain name has also been assigned to the secondary store. So after we create the store, the next thing we have to do is we need to submit a support ticket. This is necessary because this domain name will need to be added to the store server so that it will be active for you to use in the storefront end. So for us to go ahead and create a support ticket to enable the Invotide team to add this domain, the next thing we have to do is we navigate to the add-on services section here and then select support ticket option here. All right. So once we are here, we go ahead and click on the add button here and then select the department as domain setup. So we add the subject, say new store domain. All right. So for the description, say hi. All right, so this is just an example of how you can compose your support ticket. So once you have added the description, we go ahead and click on this button to submit it. All right, so now that we've submitted the support ticket, we'll now wait for the Invotide team to process the request. So once the domain name has been added and is active, you'll be able to access the secondary storefront by coming here and then selecting the store here. All right. So now that we have completed the setup of the secondary store, we can then proceed to create products, assign categories, and process customers' accounts and orders for the secondary store. So in the next example, I'm going to show you how to create products and categories for your secondary store. So for us to do this, we navigate to the store management section, we select catalog, and then we select products. So coming to the product list page, you see that when we open the filter for the store section, you can see that the new store has been added here. So selecting this store, we can filter the product list. So if we click on the filter button, currently we don't have any product for this store, but let's go ahead and do that. You see that it will show a blank list because we have not added any product to this store. But if we select the default store, you see that it will show us the products that we currently have for the default store. So for us to add a new product to the new store, we go ahead and click on the add button here. So in this example, we're adding a physical product. So we select this option. So we say test product. All right. For the description, we say this is a demo product for secondary store. All right. So for the meta tag title, we add the name of the product. We leave the meta description, keywords, and tags as they are optional. So in the data section here, we need to ensure that we assign the new product to only be available for the new secondary store. So we go ahead and untick this and tick this so that the product will be available for this store. So the next thing we do here is we add the model number as 10. We set the price as 20. All right. So we leave all these other options, scroll down to, we can add weight if we want to do that, but we won't do it. So we ensure that the status is enabled here, and then we proceed to the image section. So here we add an image from the existing images here. All right. So let's say we add, so we select this image as a product image. So once we add the image, the next option here allows us to assign categories to this product. So in this example, let's say we want to create a new category that will only be visible for the new secondary store. We can do that by clicking the manage category option here. All right. So here we'll now proceed to click on the add button here. So we call this test category. All right. We say this is for the description, the demo category for the secondary store. All right. So for the meta tag title, we put the name of the category there. So we leave the meta description and keyword as it is optional. So we proceed to the next section. So in the data section, we have the option to assign parent category. So we have the option to assign filters. So take note of this section. So for us to be able to assign this category to only the secondary store, we go ahead and untick this and then tick the option for the new store that we just created. So after doing that, we can add keyword for the new category. So we just say keyword is set the keyword as test category. All right. Add the category image. Let's say we add this as the category image. All right. So we can enable this so that the category will show in the header menu section. So once we set this, we enable the status. So we can leave this section as it is optional, and then we save. All right. So now you see that the new category has been added, and we can then proceed to close this and then assign it to the product. All right. So after adding the category, we can leave all these other options here as they are optional. So the next thing we do is we save the product. All right. So now you see that we have added the product. So if we come back here and clear the filter, so you can see the new product here. So if we now want to filter to see all the products that are in the secondary store, we come here, we select the new store option and then filter it. So you can see that it's now showing the new products that we added to the secondary store. All right. So this is an example on how you can add products and assign categories to your secondary stores using the multi-store feature. So the next option we have here is we can also manage customers' orders. So if a customer orders from any of your secondary stores, you'll be able to manage it by navigating to the store management section, select sales, and select orders. So in the order list page, you can see that we have an option here, the column that is called store. So when an order has been placed by a customer, we'll be able to track the actual store that the customer who made the order from. So if we want to filter based on store, we can come to the filter section here. So you see that selecting the store option shows us the list of stores we have. So if we select the new secondary store and click on the filter button, you see that it will show a blank list because no order has been made in the secondary store. But if we select the default store, all right, so you can see all the orders that are active for this store. So this is how you can filter and manage customers' orders in your admin panel, right? So one other thing we can do apart from managing customers' order in a multi-store setup, we can also manage customer accounts. So we can do this by navigating to the customer account section. So we come to the store management section here, select customers, and then we choose the customer option. So in the customer account list page, you see that we have the option to filter the customer accounts based on store. So clicking this, you can see the list of stores we have. So this is the new secondary store we just added. So when a customer signs up in the new store, the customer's account will be added here, and you will be able to track the store by checking the store column in the list. So currently this customer signed up in our default store. So you can see that it's showing it here. So if we come here and let's say we filter to see the store accounts for the new store, you see that the result will be empty because no customer has signed up yet in our secondary store. So let's clear the filter. All right. So this is an example on how you can manage customer accounts. Note that you can also change customer store by clicking the edit button, and then here you can assign the customer to another store. All right, let's go back. So one other thing we can do is we can also manage our modules. There are modules that are compatible with the multi-store feature. So one of the modules we can look at that is compatible is the analytics module. So for us to access this, we come to the store management section, select the analytics option here. All right. So in the analytics page, you see that we have an option that allows us to filter the result of each of the store analytics based on the various stores we have. So currently we are viewing the default store analytics report. If we want to view for the new secondary store we created, we can come here and select it. So you see that because there hasn't been any activity in the secondary store, so there is nothing to show here. So but if we navigate back and select our main store, so you see that we've had some activities on the main store. So this is just an example of a module that supports the multi-store feature. Another module we can access that supports the multi-store feature are modules that are set up in the module list section. So for us to access this, we navigate to the store management section, select settings, and then select modules. So let's say, for example, one module we can look at is, let's go to the store design section. We can look at the age verifications module. So let's go ahead and open it. So you see that the age verifications module, the option to choose the store that you want to set up is here. So currently we are viewing the default store settings for the age verification module. We can also change to see the settings for the secondary store. So if we select this, it will show us the settings we have made for the secondary store to use this module, right? So after we make any adjustments here, we can save it. So saving it will apply the changes to this store. All right. So these are just examples on how you can set up modules that support the multi-store feature. All right. So one last thing we'll look at the themes section. So we can also adjust our store theme based on the various active stores. So for example, let's say we go to the theme section. So to go to the theme section, we navigate to the store management section, select settings, and then we select themes. So you see that in the theme section, once we add a new store, the store will be made available here. So what that means is that we can configure the theme for this store to be separate from the main store. So, but if we don't configure, if we leave this disabled, the secondary store will automatically use the theme settings for the main store. So let's say we want to set up a different theme for this secondary store. So we can come here and click on the edit button. So in the edit page, let's say we select the streamline theme for this store. So we come here and enable it. So once we enable it and save, it will now apply this theme to the secondary store. So after we've enabled this, we now have the option to further customize the theme by clicking the customize theme button here. So in the customize theme button, you can come here and choose the store we want to edit. So currently we have not enabled the domain name, so I can't choose it. So once you choose this, you come to the menu section here. And let's say, for example, we want to change the theme settings. You come here and select the settings option here. So we take note of the default theme that we set for the secondary store. So we had set the streamline theme. So what we do is we come here and click on the view settings button. So you see that in the streamline theme settings page, we have the option to choose the store that we want to edit. So we want to edit the settings for the secondary store. So we select it. So now any changes we make here will be applied to this secondary store. So after you make changes here, you proceed to save. All right. So now we have made the changes to this store. So coming back here, we can also go back to our main store if we want to make changes to the streamline theme settings for our main store. So let's close this. So we can also change the storefront page layout by selecting the layout designer option here. All right. So the theme layout designer allows us to adjust the modules that are available in the storefront page layout. So let's say we want to adjust the modules in the home page layout. So we come here, we select the home page. So in the home page layout, you can see the modules that are available there. So now that the multi-store feature is active, let's say, for example, we want to make changes to the latest products module. So we go ahead and click on the edit module button here. So you notice that in the module edit page, we have a new option that allows us to choose the store that we want to edit. This is because the multi-store feature is active. So here we can then proceed to select the secondary store, right, that we just created. So once we select it, if we make any change here, it will be available in the secondary store only. So any changes we make here and then we save will be applied to this store. All right. So note that we can also make changes to our main store by selecting it and then making the changes and then saving it. All right. So this is how we can adjust the theme layout based on the multi-store feature. So we can always come back to the settings page here if we want to make any further adjustment to the theme. And we can always preview the theme by selecting the store that we want to view from using this option here. All right. So these are some of the features you can set up when you activate the multi-store feature. In this video, I've shown you how to set up the multi-store feature, how to create products for your secondary stores, how to manage customer orders using the multi-store feature, and also how to adjust your theme settings using the multi-store feature. Thank you for watching.